3 weeks ago, at 2 a.m., I couldn't sleep. There was this question that was pondering in my mind. And like any reasonable person, I started talking to ChatGPT. And I asked it, hey, how does our minds work? Is intelligence that we have is something that's static or is it dynamic? So it started explaining topics about how brains learn. And it was telling me how brain rewire every time we throw a new challenge at it. It gave me an example of when you're trying to learn a new language and see new words, your brain patterns change. When a taxi driver is navigating through new streets, different parts of their brains are triggered and they are learning something new. So I asked it, like an AI professional would, is that if I start relaxing and not do anything, just chill, sip on my chai while I give you instructions and you do those things for me, will I lose my thinking skills? It counter questioned me. It said, did calculators make people less good at math? Or did GPS make people less good at directions? Well, I am directionally challenged. So I don't know if it has something to do with the technology or is it just me. But jokes aside, in that hour in the night, I was just thinking that if we constantly start using AI as our thinking companions, over time, will our brain get stronger or weaker? I know it might be something silly to think about at that time in the night, but as an AI professional, I have constantly seen people think about AI as a business tool. Think about return on investment, think about productivity metric. I felt that maybe we're looking at all of this from the wrong lens. I mean, sure, we have been thinking about AI's capabilities to write, to create, to code, to analyze. But maybe if we step back and think that the question is not about AI's capability or AI's intelligence, it is about what happens to our intelligence when we start using AI as thinking companions. I've been in this space for a decade, and I can tell you that the boardroom conversation is all about productivity, automation, and efficiency. But what I have noticed is the pattern and the biggest impact of AI is not exactly being quantified in business metric. It is something that we are seeing in our lives. The way that we learn, the way we interact, the way we connect, the way we produce thoughts is changing because of AI. And that's something that I term as invisible revolution. So you've all seen really loud headlines talk about superintelligence and job replacement. But what is happening as the real AI revolution or the invisible revolution is something which is silent and subtle, and it is happening to each of us in this room. When you're using AI tools for assisted writing, your thinking patterns or your writing behavior is changing over time. When you're using AI tools to help you research and you get this information within seconds, your research pattern is changing. Even if you are somebody who has never touched an AI tool, never logged into ChatGPT. But when Spotify is curating that music album for you, your music taste is changing. When you're constantly getting personalized ads on your phone, your shopping pattern is changing. When completes your questions or sentences on your phone, it's not just completing that, but it is also shaping your thoughts. And that is something which is insanely embedded in our lives. And it is our new invisible infrastructure that all of us are living upon. It is as essential and as unnoticed as electricity. And what I would tell you is think about the time when computers evolved. Earlier, there used to be these giant, massive systems sitting in work environments, which was only used for very specialized tasks. Later, they came into our homes, but as bulky laptops or bulky computers, which was also only used by adults. But think about it today. That computing capability is embedded in your phone, in your smartwatch, and even the toys that you're buying for your kids. And that's something which is profound. The technology that once you thought required expertise is now so deeply embedded in our lives that we don't even actively think about it. And that's what's happening with children of today's generation. They are the first generation when they are growing up with all of these AI tools, knowingly or unknowingly, as companions. For them, creating bedtime stories using AI, using these AI tools to complete their homework, is the normal. While all of us are trying to learn AI tools, they are being shaped by these AI companions. While we are thinking about adopting it and thinking about when to use it, how to use it, what we need to teach them is when not to use it, and what parts to use AI for and what parts to not use AI for. Now, some of you might be anxious about all of these changes that is happening, and it is quite normal to feel that way. But let me also tell you that this has happened before. Throughout the human history, all of the innovation, a simple example is calculators. We used to do all the tedious, complex calculations by hand before calculators came. And after they came, it took away all the automated part and freed up our time. One might argue that did it make us less good at math? Probably from a mental arithmetic perspective, but if you look at the time span between then till now, we have been able to develop more advanced mathematical theories and push the boundaries way beyond what we could ever before. And that's the impact of AI I'm talking about. But at the same time, this time it is different in one way. And that one way is the sheer breathtaking speed at which we are seeing AI evolve. If you're looking at something like agricultural revolution, it happened over a millennia. Then we saw the industrial revolution, which happened over centuries. Then we saw the digital revolution, also took some decades. But now what we are seeing is breathtaking. Things are moving so fast. All of these tools are integrated in our lives within months or weeks, I would say. And that's good and bad. Because research says that the gap between AI literacy among different socioeconomic groups has broadened since 2023, and they are calling it the cognitive divide. That's the reason that we need to push for AI literacy. That's why we need to stop thinking about AI tools as something that you use at work and start thinking about how and when you use them for your lives. It has to be a conscious decision. It cannot be reactive. We need to be proactive about it. Now, through all of this, how do we go about it? How do we get started? How do we teach ourselves and teach the next generation? So I've built a very simple framework that is going to help you. It's a set of introspective questions that you can do right now or do later on. It's called the AI mindset, and I call the framework as MIND. M being the mindful use of the technology. Ask yourself if you're using AI as a delegate or as a growth tool. A delegate is going to be something that does the thing for you, but over time, your own skills is going to get weak. A growth tool is something that you use as a catalyst to get better at things that you want to achieve. For example, a delegate mindset could be write a thank you note for my boss. It's going to write it for you. It's going to be super generic. A growth mindset would be saying that, help me write an email for my boss in a warm and professional tone. Add a note that I really appreciated their feedback on my project. And end it with saying that if you would like to grab some coffee. That way, you're leading the AI tool with intent. And what might happen is that you'll get better at communication, learning from the tool, and you're also adding your own intent to the tool. Second thing is integrating this into your life. As I've been telling you, AI is not just a work tool, it is a life tool. You can use it the way you want it to make decisions in life. A simple way that I use it for is I hate planning trips and vacation. So instead of me going through multiple different blogs and trying to figure out what do I want to do for a vacation, I give that context to an AI tool. I tell it where I'm going to go, when I'm going to go, what do I want to do, what do I not want to do, and the kind of vibe I want for my vacation, and it builds that itinerary. That's an intentional use. Now, if you're thinking about how do you get started, ask yourself, what's that one thing that makes your life tedious or time consuming, and start to figure out what AI tools can help you fix that. The third thing is navigating change. And let's be honest, nobody likes change. It can be very, very intimidating. What you can do is learn together. I teach my mom about ChatGPT all the time. And I cannot tell you the number of hours that she spends on the tool every day to help her solve smallest problems, like something is not working on her television, to help her meal prep. That's why you need to share all of the tips, the things that you're learning, the things that you tried, what worked for you, whether it be with your sibling, with your partner, with your parent. That makes it less intimidating. And let me tell you one thing that's very, very important, especially for the younger generation. We need to teach them that using AI is not seen as taking shortcuts or cheating. It's a new way for us to start thinking, a new way to using these intelligent companions in our lives. And the last thing is daily familiarity. While integration into life was about thinking about AI as a life tool, daily familiarity is about using it instinctively. The same way that you pick up your phone to look at the weather, or you pick up your phone to look at the maps. How do you build that reflexes for yourself that for the smallest thing that you need help with, you rely on an AI tool to help you with it? For example, the diagrams that you saw on my presentation, I am not a creative person. I used AI to help me with it. Or if you're stuck thinking about what workout do you need to do for the week, use AI to help you with it. Or if you're thinking about, hey, I wanted to do a bakery business, but I don't know whom to talk to, use AI for those brainstorming activity. It can be your specialized coach. All in all, you need to have an AI mindset, and having this mindful use integration into life, navigating the change and daily familiarity, you will be able to embrace that change in a very, very organic manner. Now, going back to my 2 a.m. question, I of course had to answer that. If I start using AI to think, will my brain get stronger or weaker? The answer is simple. It depends on you. How do you want to use it? It can be a crutch that makes you weak, or it can be a catalyst that propels you to achieve more. It depends on what you choose and how intentively you decide to do that. Let me tell you, we are going to be the last generation who has seen life before AI. And we are the first generation to shape what it can look like in the future. So the choices that we are making today, the habits that we build today, the mindset that we develop is what is going to make that change in the future, not just for us, but for our next generation, and how that turns into the later future parts of humanity. So don't ask yourself, is AI going to replace us. What we should be thinking about is how we reinvent our lives with these intelligent companions. Thank you.